a part of me was a little bit hesitant to feel like I was filtering myself, right? I wanted to be able to be myself, not just for the listeners, but around you, because we're friends. And I thought, well, if I have to filter myself so much, I don't know if I want to do that.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to No Experience Acquired. I am Chase, and I'm here with my co-host,
Steven.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it's nice to be back.
It's good. We just had a paper, rock, scissors between to see who would open, and I lost. So
You did.
I did.
Yeah, I did not want to.
Starting off strong.
We are.
Yeah.
It's been quite the process just to get this going.
Yeah. It's been, how long has it been?
5 months.
5 months?
5 months.
No
Almost
way.
half a year, man.
Didn't we say we were taking like a month break?
We both knew it wasn't going to be a month. We were pretty much saying goodbye.
I think I'm consistently optimistic and always let down.
We're like, hey guys, we'll see you in 3 weeks.
And never
5
speak
months.
again.
Right? Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, it flew by though.
It did.
I mean, it's been a long 5 months.
Yeah. It's just a lot has happened.
A lot has happened. Yeah.
Yeah. 5 months, man.
5 months. We're in December. We're finishing off the year.
Yeah, we're right at the end of December,
Yeah, we sure are.
heading into the new year.
Yeah.
Perfect time to come back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we're almost having to relearn how to do this.
If you guys had seen our setup process just now, so we moved locations. We
Yeah.
were out of the old office space, and now we're just in a room in Steven's house.
Yeah.
And clearly still unprofessional. Somehow we lost experience in this.
I like how we did not walk through the process of what the setup was going to be like
Not at all.
before we started recording.
We're like, hey, we got this. And then
Yeah.
just spend 45 minutes trying to figure out how to do things again.
Yeah, our time limit is up.
Yep.
So this is a short one, guys.
It's really great to see you
gonna
guys
close
again.
off this episode.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We'll see you next year.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like, I'm super happy we're doing this. To be
I am
quite
too.
honest, I feel like there was a point there where I thought maybe we wouldn't quite make it back.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't think so?
There was definitely a part of me that was like, I don't know if we're going to actually do this again.
Why did you think that, though?
Just a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
One, it's us, and our track record is not the best.
That's a really fair point.
Two, it'd been 5 months when we said month. And then 3, I think we were still trying to figure out and work through some different things behind the scenes as well.
Yeah.
That we never quite really even figured out. But I think we, really at the end of the day, we both knew we wanted to come back and do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no question that this is something I wanted to continue doing. So it wasn't like, I never felt like we wouldn't do it. It was like, okay, when are we actually going to be able to do this?
Mm-hmm.
So just for everyone to know, it's not for Steven's lack of trying to get something done. It's more of my inability, and I'm the real hold up here. But
That's not entirely true. I think, life happens. Chase got really busy these last 5 months. So did I. And I think that's why we took a break initially, was because we both knew we were going to be focusing on, on your end.
I'm just spilling stuff all over myself now.
On your end, you had a lot going on.
It's a good representation of my life, pretty much.
Spilling liquid all over yourself.
Yeah.
The floods, that destroyed your home last year. Yeah,
exactly. I was just giving a visual demonstration for when we start doing video.
Yeah, there we go.
Practicing. Because we're going to
That's
practice
good.
on just talking.
Yeah, there was a lot going on. And I think, a lot did happen between our last episode and now.
Yeah. So when was our last episode exactly?
It was July.
What?
Because we were finishing up some church services.
I could count 5 months back.
Yeah. And
oh my goodness,
I was going to be traveling out of the country. We were going to be traveling out of the
country. We were. That didn't work out.
That didn't quite work out either.
Pretty much nothing in my life has worked out in the last 5 months.
It just goes to show you can't ever truly plan.
Yeah, I can't, or at least I can't.
Yeah, true.
Basically, just don't count on me. That's a rule of thumb.
Stop. I'm counting on you. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure there. So
Well, at
I hope
least
you feel it.
now you have the expectation that I'll let you down.
Stop. No, now you just won't have an excuse.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah. You're over the,
Yes. So the last 5 months since July, it really was picking up, finishing building my house. My brother and my dad were both able to finish up their projects and then help me on the house a lot more. And that ramped up a lot more than I thought it would, especially on my part. There was a lot more involved than I thought I would be. But now we're through it. And yeah, a lot of difficult times. But it's, we're back in the house, back on kind of a normal trajectory. I'm hoping, a little bit more stable ground and trying to like rebuild a normal life.
Yeah.
And this is part of that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. I hope so. I hope this adds some kind of normalcy to your life and not just an added stressor of something else you have to do. Or
No, I think looking back, it was, I didn't wonder, never really thought it would be, but it was an aspect that I was curious about if this was almost like a therapeutic thing. And once I got through a lot of that stuff, that I wouldn't really need it or, wouldn't be as interested and that kind of stuff. But I don't think that's the case. I think most of our conversations and everything, I just really enjoyed and something that I liked doing and don't need, it as a therapy or anything like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. And yeah, thank the Lord you guys are into your home. It's a beautiful
Yes.
home. It's really, really coming together. I know you have quite a bit to do still now that you're in.
Yeah.
And it's probably a list that doesn't feel like it shortens, but
Yeah, I think it's part of owning a house in general. And sure, we're starting a little bit behind the mark as far as things to do and stuff. Well, kind of. Gabrielle and I, we both got back in the house and it's like completely empty. We have barely any furniture.
bare bones right now, right?
Yeah. And it's like being newlywed again. It really is starting over.
Except with 3 children right off the bat.
Yeah. So it puts us on a different foot, but at the same time, it's something we've been through before. And it's a weird place to be because we're 8 years into our marriage. And
That's a whole 8-year-old, man.
yeah. But we're still kind of starting over again. And she's a little more in him, but for the last 5 months, probably since the last podcast episode, I had been barely present at the house, with the kids and stuff, just between work and building.
Right.
And so now it really is, in a sense, kind of starting fresh, learning again and trying to rebuild into a new life. We've both built habits and mindsets, and both are in states of like complete. I was looking at like it's a weird thing to kind of get past the point where the weight is lifted a little bit and realize how heavy it's been. So it's almost like going through a state of decompression, and it's still definitely there's some interesting things to go along with that.
Yeah, I imagine there's a lot to kind of like unlearn since your guys' life was so just kind of thrown off trajectory in the last year.
Yeah.
I mean, you weren't in your own home. You were working a lot, building a home. Yeah, your focus just shifted so differently than what your normal would be.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something I never thought about, that even now, it's like my entire goal was to get back in the house. So you have this dedicated goal, and it's not an option. It's something you have to do, but you have a concerted focus. And so now that's gone, that goal, that it's not aimlessness, but it's like, oh, I need to actually build some of my own goals now, because that one is taken care of for the most part.
Yeah, which is, I think in some ways makes your life easier. And then in other ways, there's almost a different kind of accountability now on you to like actually plan out your life intentionally, because it kind of wasn't, it's not something you guys planned, right? And I know you guys had maybe hoped for a future remodel at some point, but this kind of really forced your hands to just focus on building your home up again. And
You watch me fiddle with my mic, trying to get in position.
You're pulling at me.
I know. I'm like, I can't stop touching
I'm so
him.
comfortable over here.
You do. You look cozy.
I am. The difference of recording here is like just being able to just kind of lounge.
Yeah.
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 But yeah,
I think that'd be a cool environment to do, though.
Yeah, I think so too. I think future state, I was kind of telling Chase, I think it'd be nice to just be a little bit more laid back and kind of loungy, kind of feel. I mean, you're literally sitting on a couch
Even
right now.
less professional than we were before.
Exactly. Like, it won't be creepy to bring a stranger to my house and be like, come on in to this dimly lit room.
Here,
it's
come
cozy.
Come to the back room.
Come to the back room, yeah. You know, it's cozy for me. Anyone else, like, it smells in here like Mexican food. Yeah.
Now, so for the studio was in a little office building. We had a table in there with some chairs around it and the podcast mics just sitting there. And yeah, it was an office space a little bit.
Yeah.
And so now we're in Steven's house. And
we're pretty much in the
place.
office that I like work out of every day from home. I'm going to be spending a lot of time in here. If I'm not working, you know, on my computer for work, I'm editing photos. If I'm not editing, I'm writing. If I'm not writing, I'm...
Writing, huh?
No. Writing up emails.
That's not true. That would be work. You would have said work if you said...
I meant and writing. Additional emails after hours.
No, because you said editing photos and then you went to writing. It was
I
in
meant
between.
a cycle. I
Oh,
wake
then you
up
come
and
back.
do it all over again.
I feel like we're going to have to come back to that, but we'll come back to it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But yeah. And you know what's another thing that I really miss?
What's that?
It's our little cow print table.
The cow table.
Yeah.
I still have it, so we can get back to
Don't ever
that.
get rid of it.
I won't. Well, except for, you know, to get rid of it and then put it back together.
Put it back together.
The Monsters Inc.
The Monsters
Wazowski
Inc.
stuff.
story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it through a wood chipper. I keep a splinter.
Yeah.
Yeah. You keep a splinter, whatever that is. Yeah. No one's gonna have any idea what we're talking about if they don't listen to us regularly. Like, if we have all these regular guests, we kind of do.
We do.
You know, we do.
We actually do.
I feel like there's
it's
gonna
still
be
only people we know, but
there's some very happy people when they hear your mom. One.
yeah, my mom. Speaking specifically of my mom,
Yeah, and
The only
Steven.
person.
Shout out to Steven.
Steven Broadus.
Yeah.
We see you.
Yeah, we see you. We hear you. We
We
love
do.
you.
We do.
We'll have you back on too. Go listen to that episode if you guys haven't listened to it. It's like the impact of community or something like that. Go listen to it, you guys. It's a great one. It's one of my favorites, actually, to be honest. I'm
great time.
actually being honest. Yeah, it's just such a good topic.
Yeah. Whew. So, yeah, this year is, man, it's been a year.
It's been a year. Yeah.
Yeah. And we lasted, how long did we last? We said 6 months. We made the 6 months, didn't we?
We made it 6 months. We made it just past the 6 months, which is huge for us.
That really
honestly.
is. For us to do something 6 months, that's pretty monumental. Like, this is a first. And then to come back to it and actually keep going,
Yeah, I know.
it'd be really embarrassing.
Unless we
never
have a
came back
horrible
again.
fight after this and like a falling out, then no one might ever hear this ever.
I just turned into a complete diva, and I'm like, my podcast mic was.
Yeah, I broke this cheap table of yours that can't even hold my
I
stand.
did break his table, trying to put my
it was-
podcast mic stand.
A free table that's all like press board or whatever that's called.
I'm the worst co-host. Disappear for 5 months and then come in and break your stuff.
Gosh, man. Welcome you into my humble little apartment and you just go destroying everything.
No.
Go through my closet. Just if there's one person I'd be comfortable going through my closet, is you. Actually, if I die, can you like go in and clean it out?
I'll do that.
thank
I
you.
will.
Yeah. Hopefully I don't die anytime soon. Then I'll be like those people who kind of like prophesied their death. And they'll be like, this podcaster joked about his death.
You'd be the
and died."
topic of way more podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are like, we listened back. They weren't that great, but
But
at least they
It
had
did do
one
one thing right.
interesting. I'll take one for the team.
Perfect.
Yeah. If it gives the podcast some type of publicity.
yeah,
and
we have some notoriety.
bad press is still press.
Yep.
Right?
All press is good press. What is that?
I don't know
I don't know.
what the saying is. Negative press is still a plus. I don't know.
That doesn't sound right.
say, no.
Why do people listen to us? Hey, Mom, why do you listen to us?
Yeah, hey, Steven, why do you care about this podcast?
Oh, so what's next then? I mean, I guess we came back into this just like, okay, let's jump back into it. So we didn't do any really outlining. We didn't do any like, hey, this is another one of our no topics. It's more of just getting back into things. And
no one will listen to this.
Yeah.
The one that's just us two is the least listened to most of the time.
That's true.
We're boring.
So what we're pulling from that is that people really just like hearing other people, and that's the only way that they'll do it.
Yeah. They're like, just get rid of these two guys and bring on just random people to talk on this podcast, and we'll happily listen.
Could you guys just not talk when you have people on your podcast?
Yeah, that's what I should do. What is next? I'm trying so hard to not bring back the ums.
You're at least thinking about it. I've probably just been the worst for however long now.
If you hear random noises escape my throat, it's me trying to cover up an almost just said it right after that. Yeah. Anywho, what do you hope comes out of this moving forward? Do you see a rebrand? Do you see something new? What do you want to stay the same? What do you want to change?
I really hope we continue the evolution that we had going. I think we had a lot of good aspects to what we were doing, and it was developing on its own really well. I think there was a lot of good to it, a lot of things we were learning and adjusting to. So I really want to see us get back into that. I just want to see it grow. I think I would like to, taking this back to what I think we talked about in the last episode, was trying to use this to facilitate a lot of the things that I already have interest in doing, facilitate some good habits and things, especially in writing and thinking and being more focused on things like this, on things I want to accomplish and create rather than just consuming a bunch of content or things like that. Yeah, I think actually doing something with this, and it seems like a good medium that we found. We've always had that interest in doing something together, creating, and this is a good avenue for a lot of that. And I hope it turns into, I hope it's a good avenue for more of that, not just this, but, doing different things. What about you?
Same.
You can't just steal my answer.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. Everything he said, I agree. No, I do see a little bit of a rebrand, to be honest. I think one of the things that I really liked about our past stuff is the kind of more laid back, unscripted. We usually had a topic that we'd follow and we let our guests kind of decide those things. But I enjoyed the freedom that there was in that. And then in some ways, I feel like maybe there could be a little bit more structure to just a little bit of I don't know, the flow of the episode maybe. And maybe those things will help us navigate certain conversations or topics. And then I think I do want us to have some type of online presence other than just a podcast. I want us to be able to market ourselves. And
what are we going to market ourselves as?
Oh, that's a question. I think, I really don't know. And I think those are probably the conversations that we really should have is what do we represent fully, right? And what do we want to actually come out of this? And those are good questions. And I think those are ones we asked a few times, and we spent some time maybe dissecting, specifically me, the fears around some of those things. But the potential for good is really there.
Yeah.
And so I really want to maybe have
Do you want to explain some of that right now?
Should we?
You know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and dive into this. Let's start at the top. Okay, so this started from a couple of our conversations where they did get somewhat serious, or topics that in some ways we were a little bit uncomfortable with. And not that we're uncomfortable talking about those things. I'm trying to think of how to go into this. Like, how do we broach this?
I think just being honest. Look, we're two imperfect guys who the thing that we share the most is our faith, right? In our spiritual life. We call ourselves Christians. And I think when someone says that, you always have to be careful because we automatically represent a much larger group.
Yeah.
And that stems, within our personal circle of friends up to the community.
Yeah,
up to
especially
our
when
church.
it comes to something like a belief system.
Exactly. And then ultimately we are representing Christ is what we truly believe, right?
Yeah.
And I think when we first initially started this podcast, our spiritual life wasn't it's a part of us, but we didn't feel it was necessary to make it a big factoring.
I think how we started out, we didn't want to avoid it, didn't want to hide it because it is a part of who we are. But we really started out with it. We just thought we were going to have conversations and talk and hang out. And we do. But the more topics that we talk about with people, the more relevant those core belief systems are. And so we don't hide them. And the more that came up, the more relevant it was and how we represent it. And, the topics that we discuss then become, especially when it does go something more than just surface.
Yeah.
That, that's something that it's more prevalent and more relevant. Even if it's not intentionally a part of it, it's just unavoidable.
Yeah, for sure. And I think with that came, it kind of exposed a lot of things not in a bad way kind of exposed, but in the sense of, we believe the same, but we also might have different convictions. And we might also disagree on a lot of things. And I think that's okay, right? I think if Chase and I agreed 100% on everything, it'd probably make for a boring podcast one. And also anyone with a differing opinion, it'd probably not be the funnest to have them on if we're just, I don't know, all exactly on the same page or whatever. But I think a lot of the fears that came up were maybe conversations that go against our personal convictions and how to navigate this kind of world where we open ourselves up to being open-minded enough and loving enough to maybe have conversations that we don't necessarily agree with, or we might not see 100% eye to eye with, without compromising our convictions and our values and our morals, without also coming off like these really uptight, unloving, unaccepting people. And that was or is the dilemma, right? Kind of the saying, like, don't be so open-minded, your brain falls out. Like, we obviously, our circle of friends know us. The people we're acquaintances with might know us enough to know what kind of people we are, what our character is. Yeah. But when you're on a podcast, you don't get to control that kind of perspective. And so anyone who doesn't know us fully, they might get the wrong perception of us, or we might give out the wrong perception, right? Yeah. That's on us as well.
Yeah, because we're responsible to communicate it correctly.
Exactly. Absolutely. And so I think that was one of the big things that I felt like could possibly stop us. I think it got that thought became so big. And I think there was a lot of what ifs. And to be honest, I kind of was turned off by the idea of continuing. And I kind of voiced this to you that particular night we were speaking about this. But I said, I don't want to do this if it becomes a chore or something that I'm fearful of. And I think there's a lot of growth that I need to do personally. And a part of me was a little bit hesitant to feel like I was filtering myself, right? Yeah. I wanted to be able to be myself, not just for the listeners, but around you. Yeah. Because we're friends. And I thought, well, if I have to filter myself so much, I don't know if I want to do that. And to some degree, it sounds very immature, because I think there should be personal growth to be able to not speak on certain things or joke certain ways. But in other ways, I want to be authentic, and I don't want to come off hypocritical. And so there was just a lot. And it became a little bit convoluted, and we didn't necessarily see it the same way, right? So I think it became this thing where I thought, you know what, I don't want to ruin it, and I don't want to take the fun out of it. Maybe we shouldn't do it. Like, if this responsibility is, if the 5 people that are listening, I love how like serious it got, and we have like 10 listeners. We're like, this is going out to the world. Like, we might be stumbling blocks for the hundreds of listeners. No, we might be. for just the 5.
Everyone who hears this is like, no, we know you both are really messed up. It's okay. You guys are fine.
They're like, you guys do not have that power over us. That's a joke. But yeah, and so I think a big part of it was that. And
I think a part of it too is I have trouble communicating sometimes because I dive very seriously very quickly. Like I go deep very quickly. And so I think in my mind, like I'm keeping a whole picture in mind where, like you said, I realize that we're both imperfect people. And I don't ever want to hide that. I don't ever want it to seem like, oh, we have all things figured out. We have this right to live exactly the right way and do everything correctly. But the conversations that we do have open up into areas that, can open up into deep areas or controversial areas or, I don't know. I want to give that the best representation as possible, which is one, making it clear where we believe, I don't ever want to put it off on where our stance is, especially on things that I know go against my convictions. But also, like you said, still being able to have a normal conversation. And we came into a conversation, had an instance where felt like something wasn't quite right, not knowing exactly how to portray it correctly. And we hadn't had that conversation prior. And so then we were after the fact trying to, I was expressing my concerns. You were trying to understand where I was coming from. And like I said, I go very deep quickly, and it was pretty surface. It was nothing big. But to me, I look at him like, okay, if we keep going forward with this, this is going to be a part of what we're going to have to deal with. And I'm glad that this was a small aspect, is relatively small, and we're able to actually talk about this now to try and move forward. But I think I bring that across so seriously that a lot of times it can make it seem bigger than what it really is. Not that it's not a big deal, especially since if it's later on, it'll turn into something. But that in this instant, like you said, you're like, oh, I don't want to come off incorrectly, but I also want to be authentic, but I also don't want to just, make people feel bad or, anyway. And it is a fine balance in communication. That's hard. But being able to come in here and still be relaxed, still have a good conversation, still be able to talk with people with different opinions, different backgrounds, all these different things, not make anyone feel like they're not welcome. And that was part of the problem is like, I didn't know how to balance the communication to them outwards that like, hey, this might not be, I didn't want to call them out immediately in the time because, sorry, here we go again. I'm like unraveling. Let's see. When that comes on, I want it to be apparent where we stand, but I also don't want to make it seem like I'm putting people down and judging them for this or if they have different beliefs or anything like that. And if I were to like immediately call something out as like, oh, well, hey, I don't think that's right or anything like that, it could be perceived on their end as like, oh, they're putting me down. They're making me feel less than they are, even as difference in beliefs. And I don't want to do that to them. And I also don't want to put that out where that like that whole judgmental stereotype.
Right.
And so trying to balance that out and just still have authentic conversations, come from a place of love, be able to have those. We learned some things of like to have conversations beforehand. We did talk about the instance to try and say, how should we approach this in the future? Okay, yeah, then that's what we'll do. And be like, hey, for both of us to not be nervous, we're both going to make mistakes. Like we're going to mess up. And if we have to apologize for something, then that's what we'll do. Which is maybe uncomfortable, but like that's living life. That is the point, is like we are all imperfect. I am going to mess up at some point. To you who's listening and to you who I'm talking to, I'm going to mess up in some way. And I probably will have to do an apology, like at least say, hey, you know what, this isn't exactly a good representation. I shouldn't have done this one. And maybe it was just, I wasn't thinking, or maybe my emotional state got out of hand or whatever, depending on the conversation. And that's okay for us to move forward. Like we have to be able to do that for us to, one, be able to be authentic and just have normal conversations. Like give ourselves the grace to have a normal conversation, which is just stumbling through communication in general.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it was a fun conversation. There was a lot of back and forth, and
Yeah.
we had some good close friends who were also kind of giving their advice and feedback and opinion and their kind of insight or their perspective. And there was a lot of back and forth. And I think at first I just thought, oh man, this is too much for me, right? It's just too big.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think when it comes down to it, like I said, the potential for good is so much bigger, I think. And we want to be able to have open conversation and differing opinions and, be able to inspire, connect, or relate.
And I think keeping in mind that we named it No Experience Required for a reason, we're still learning all through life. We have perspectives, but I don't go into it with like this mindset that I'm completely right and there's no changing that or anything like that. I want my conversations to actually be listening and absorbing, even if it's not, I can't go against my core belief system. Like those values aren't set by me, and I am grateful for that. But I can at least talk about it and not feel like I have to battle someone out or anything like that. Yeah, it was a good conversation. It was a hard conversation, especially the way that I communicate. And sometimes I need to preface how I talk and how I think about things. But yeah,
same. I think, I want to be able to, like, I wish I could just download who we are into everybody's brain so they know exactly where we're coming from and what our intention is and where our heart is. But you can't do that, right? And that's not realistic. And, a part of me thought, we'll put a huge disclaimer at the beginning of every episode, like, hey, we're just you guys who don't believe this, this, and this, but believe this, this, and this, and we're not perfect, and give us grace, and we love you, and regardless of we, believe something or not. But again, also, it's just one of those things where I think the more we go throughout these episodes, and if we do garner any kind of audience that actually comes back and listens and doesn't just judge us based off one episode or one conversation, that would be great, right? Like, get to know us. That's all we ask.
And also realize that we're not going to please everybody all the time, unfortunately. No. As much as I'd like to. I don't want to make anybody unhappy, but understand that as best as we can, we'll do our best to communicate. That's an operating principle for me, is like I do the best that I can. I do everything I can. And then once I've done that, if there's nothing else I can do, and it's on the other person's receiving end that I can't do anything on, and it's in their court, it's the ball's in their hands, then, there's nothing I can do, and just hope that it works out best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So ultimately, don't hold us accountable for anything. If we've ever said anything in the past that might have caused you to stumble or to question or to...
This is legally binding, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't blame us for anything.
You cannot hold that against us in court or at the judgment seat or anywhere, okay? Just come in knowing anything we say is not our responsibility or accountability. You're in control of your own life, okay?
I have plausible deniability for my entire life and everything you hear right now. That's the legal disclaimer at the beginning.
Yeah, no, and I know, I mean, I sometimes do feel like I joke too much, but it's true. We're not going to be able to please everybody. I think it'll be impossible to not offend somebody because we do have such differing opinions.
Yeah.
Our lifestyle isn't the norm right now either. And that's okay. If you're not our audience, that's okay.
Yeah.
We're not your podcast either. It's fine.
Or maybe you just like hearing a differing opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are.
Yeah.
That's okay too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving forward, hopefully, he said, I think some of that goal is to maybe, I think.
Sorry, guys. I just bumped my head on this arm here, this mic arm.
Have some of those authentic conversations. And if someone is willing to dive deep into some, not confrontational, but
if you have something really personal you want to get off your chest, please, we beg you to come on our podcast.
I was more meaning just like topic wise, those.
Yeah.
What's the word I'm thinking of? Not confrontational, but
scandalous.
No. Why are you trying to gossip about everything? Why does everything sound like it's leaning towards gossip? If you've heard anything about anybody you know that we also know that'd be really juicy, feel free to come on.
Just come on. Anonymous call.
It doesn't even have to be verified. Just bring it on. Yeah. We'll get it out in the air, right?
Absolutely.
Sunlight's the best disinfectant.
Call out your coworker for being a bad person? Give us a call. We'll blast them on air for you. No, that's a joke. There I go again. Not filtering myself, and I probably should, but no, I know what you're trying to say. If anyone has something that's...
Yeah, I think the goal is to be able to sometimes have those difficult conversations from a stance where maybe our beliefs are opposing. And be able to have a good conversation about it, what and why you believe that, and maybe where we're coming from, where they're coming from, and it'll get the ideas out there and just talk about them in a good, open way, and hopefully a healthy way. We don't want to have any fights or anything. It's not that. It's just be able to talk about some of the interesting things that we are interested in, without, like you said, sometimes some of the feedback was that we were reserved or we were surface. To be able to let go of some of that worry and be able to have some of those conversations and learn and grow through them.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it doesn't always have to be something that's an opposing opinion or, we're not asking people to come on with this 10-page argumentative essay.
No, I am.
And having... Well, then I'm asking
Do you
for
know
juicy
me at all?
gossip. To be honest. No.
You either have to have gossip or have been written extensively about it.
We're relying on everyone else to be vulnerable, not ourselves, okay? Well, how about we start with us? Well, let's find something we 100% disagree on one day and just
that would be interesting.
Chase is so intellectual and smarter than me, so I would lose on it. Unless it's like feelings and emotions. Then I might win.
I'm just angry all the time.
I'm so much inside.
I don't know what you want me to argue with you. You are very angry.
I'm like, that was short. No, we want to be able to share just more than a service conversation. And that can look in so many different ways. If it's something that someone has overcome.
We need to be more like Caitlin.
We do. We need to have Caitlin back on to just... No.
Let it all
She'll
go.
ask all the questions I jokingly say I'll ask. She'll actually ask them.
Have
you ever cheated on your spouse? That was the first question I asked jokingly when she said, what kind of questions I would ask. That's a joke, obviously, but
it's not.
Actually,
much truth is spoken in jest.
You know what? If you have and you've worked past it and you want to share that and be an inspiration for somebody else, come on. That
would be really
that would be crazy.
That'd be a tough conversation.
I'd be like, I don't know how to handle this information. This is too much. No, but honestly, not in the gossipy type of way, but if you have overcome something or a trial or a tribulation or sickness or just a crazy, interesting story that doesn't necessarily have to be something very deep, but is just something that's kind of wow. I would love to have those kind of conversations. We have, I'm sure, some.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of life that's been lived out there that I don't have and that is experiences, and I'd love to hear about them and talk about them. It's an interesting thing. So this past year, so I was doing this, and I'm still am, but kind of working through it, of this year in review and trying to look back and I don't think I've really done this before in a serious way, right? I mean, look back at the year and reflect it a little bit, but I've wanted to kind of take what were my 3 big takeaways from this year? What are these 3 big things that really affected me and I will take forward into my life moving forward? And one of those things was the value of a true lesson of actually going through something, because you can have an intellectual and a theoretical lesson and think you can read something and be like, oh, that's true. But this past year, gone through some actual things, and not that I haven't before, but this has been a consistent test of, it's been in my face. This situation has been in my life and has taken over it and gone through this hardship that has kind of ruled my life for the past year and a half. And going through those things and facing realities of certain things are much different than any sort of hypothetical and theoretical lesson. You can look at someone's story, you can read about it, you can hear about it, you can do those things, but going through something changes your perspective entirely. And that value is it's a reality in your life in a lot of different ways. One of those things was understanding it's okay to ask for help, and not in like, oh, hey, I need help moving this box, but like, hey, I am at my wit's end. I need help. And for most of my life, I've always understood that. Like, yeah, I understand. That's why hopefully I'll be helpful to people, or I can do something and, whatever. But being in the reverse position where you really need help, Tommy, one, like, it's okay to actually be that. I don't always want to stay in that state. I want to be able to be helpful rather than just be in need all the time. But when you're in need, it's okay to ask for help and to get help. And that was a weird lesson for me, because for the most part, I've been very independent throughout my life. I've gone my own way a lot and tried to be self-sustaining. And this past year and a half, there was just no way I could. There was nothing I could do. My resources were gone. Everything was gone. I needed help from a lot of different areas. But also then watching how people helped, watching what people did and being the recipient of that changed how I view being helpful. So it changed me in a lot of different ways, but like going through those in a very visceral way and like in a life-changing way, in these, not like a little daily lesson thing, but just like it was my life, changed me moving forward. And people go through things like that all the time in different ways and experience different things and learn different lessons. And being able to hear that, I would love to be able to do that. Right? That's what I mean, is a lot of people have a lot of life that I haven't been able to live, or that I haven't lived, and gone through difficulties and hardships that I haven't gone through. And being able to hear those now, yeah, it would just be a great experience overall.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. And I think, to your credit, not everyone learns from things like that, right? I think you could let it make you a worse person in a lot of ways. And unfortunately, that would feel justifiable and reasonable, right? To just step away, maybe a more...
Well, you're still learning, but you're learning a bad lesson.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you come away with the negative of it, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to letting it change you for the better. And yeah, that's such... I think we've talked about this before, but it is such an opportunity for growth of your character. And not everyone walks away like that, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, maybe that could be for many reasons. Maybe someone literally walks away physically and mentally worse, and they have to work through that, right? They're going to have to heal through those things and find the avenue that works for them. But
yeah, and that's still extraordinarily interesting of what and why you took that lesson away. Why, what led to that end? And you're right. I mean, I told my dad, we were talking, and it's like, yeah, this year's been really hard. This last year and a half has been by far the hardest time in my life. And I've been in the military, been deployed. I've lost my grandpa. I've lost friends while I was away. I went through hard times while I was deployed, and had kids, gone through stuff with Gabrielle that were extraordinarily difficult. But no time like this. And it's not like I said I came out of this with a lot more. No, I still have problems to take care of that stem from it. And it's not like I'm not extraordinarily rich because of it. I'm not anything like gained getting through it. It's over, but I'm still now just trying to rebuild in certain ways, right? I've rebuilt my house, but now I need to rebuild my life in a lot of different ways. So, but if you would ask me if I would, excuse me, I'm not emotional. I'm just,
He's crying, you guys. His tears are flowing down his face right now. Here's a tissue.
Thank you. Yeah. If you'd ask me if I would trade it, I wouldn't. And I wouldn't even have to think about it. I wouldn't trade everything that I've gone through because of those lessons that I've learned and the things that I've gone through, and that being able to watch what the Lord has done for us, just watching out for us, just getting us through it, has changed me in so many ways. And I wouldn't undo that. I wouldn't trade that at all. So Would I want to go through it again? No. But would I trade that in for the things that I've learned and seen and who I've become because of it? No, absolutely not. And again, not everyone can say that. And I'm very grateful for that. That's, again, not because of me. It's the Lord has watched out for us this entire time and has let me see his hand in the things that he's done. And as hard as it's been, he's never let me get too far to where it's just been, it's been a wild experience.
Yeah. You have to write a book.
It'd be a very uninformative book, but
He called through the fire and the flood.
they're just,
Yeah.
it'd be one of those things that could have been a blog post.
Yeah. Could have been an email.
Could have been an email.
No, yeah. It's been a crazy year for you guys. Over a year. You know, it's been
For you too, though. It's not only me.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I've been very hermited, safe in my little apartment, just working away. I've just had great times. I've traveled out of the country, went to New York, turned 30.
Had an existential crisis because of that. Got through that.
Yeah. Threw myself off the edge of a skyscraper.
You really did.
For that.
Yeah. I'm really proud of you for that.
Thanks.
That's a big step.
Yeah.
So you might want to actually clarify, Stephen.
I survived, you guys. I lived.
I died.
I was in a coma for the last 5 months. This is why we haven't been able to do the podcast.
The true reason comes out.
Yeah. No, I went to New York City. I turned 30 and I knew I wanted to do something. I'm not a thrill seeker, for those who know me and for those who don't know me. I'm not a thrill seeker. I don't do amusement park rides. I don't even like going on little dips in the road in a car because that drop feeling in your stomach is horrible. But I went to New York City with a good group of friends and I thought I have to do something kind of crazy. And putting the helicopter ride on hold. And I said, I'll do the climb over at the Hudson Yards in New York City, where essentially you get to walk up 7 flights of stairs outside on the edge of the skyscraper. And when you get to the top, you get to lean out. You're harnessed and you get to lean out over the skyscraper, over the city of New York. And, we did it at night. It was beautiful. I got up there and I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. Your sister was there, Caitlin, and she's like, you think you can do this? We were the last 2 people to go. And I said, I don't think I can. I don't think, my feet were already at the edge of the building. And that was fine because you still feel safe. But then you have to lean out and lean forward and kind of thrust your hips out there to fully get your body out. And I thought, I don't think I can do it. And then the guy, the coordinator, the guy who's up there taking care of you and taking video and photos, calls you up. And then you just do it. You've made it that far, right?
He had to Spartan kick you forward. But.
He did, yeah. He's like, this is Sparta. Yeah. And kicked me right off the edge. No. And it was one of the hardest things I've had to do. And I know for thrill seekers, that's probably nothing. People have gone skydiving or people who do these kind of very adventurous, crazy activities. That's probably nothing. But for someone who can't really do that kind of stuff a lot of the times, it was a very big step. And it was a blast. I would absolutely do it again. They were amazing. The staff were incredible. Anyone who's going to New York City and wants something kind of thrilling to do, I recommend the climb.
Nice.
10 out of 10 stars. They were incredible. They treat you like astronauts on your climb back down, and you get to cut lines, and they give you a medal. It was a really fun experience.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. Kind of pricier, but worth the $200 plus whatever it is that it takes to do it. And so I got to do that, and that was amazing. That was one of the highlights of the year.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was being able to do it with friends and just be able to do it at all. And so, went out of the country twice this year.
Yeah.
So that was nice. And life has been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's actually a good point. What are some of I know obviously the going out of the country, what were like your top 3? And maybe you've already said them, but what were your top 3 highlights of the year?
Going to Peru.
Okay.
Yeah. Visit my girlfriend there. That was a great, great time. So that was really nice. My family got to go with me. The second
that's
time,
right.
They got to meet her. So my sister and my brother-in-law and her 2 older kids. And that was so much fun. Just so amazing to get to show them Peru and the culture and the people that I love there. There's so many wonderful people there. Huge highlight. New York, always. and the podcast.
Oh, really?
The podcast was such a highlight for my year.
Nice.
I mean, I really did enjoy doing it.
You don't have to lie for the audience. It's okay.
No, I'm lying for you, not the audience.
I do need it. I need a little pick me up.
It was the best. Yeah. Yeah. Those were probably some of the highlights for this year.
Those are great. That's a good year.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
So, looking forward into next year, what are you planning for the year? Like, what do you expect your highlights to be?
More travel.
Okay. Anywhere different or more of the same? And
Probably more of the same.
okay.
And
I feel like something, something in May might come around. It seems like I'm just getting a feeling for
May,
a
yeah,
good
summer,
highlight.
like school lets out, summer kind of
You're not
really
in school.
starts.
You're
That'll be the best.
you're not. No, you're an adult. You don't get summer break anymore.
I do.
But there's definitely something I'm feeling in May.
Yeah, I'm having open brain surgery in May.
That is a life experience.
Yeah, and hopefully I make it out. I'm looking forward to it. Either way, I'm either I'll be gone, out of my misery, or I'll be better or worse, I guess, is a possibility. But no, yeah, there's a lot I think I'm looking forward to next year. But I think it's one of those things where, I mean, again, you can plan for all these things, and it's just the Lord's grace if any of them come to fruition. And sometimes it's so much more than you could hope for or plan, and sometimes it's a little bit of a bump in the road, but that's okay. You just,
So what are 3 big things you want to accomplish next year then? How about that?
I want to continue the podcast.
Okay.
1. I want to get my health in order. Yeah.
That's great.
Every aspect you can think of.
Okay.
And
So that means mental, emotional, spiritual, physical.
I just want to lose like 100 pounds.
Oh, okay.
I'm
So
the heaviest I've ever been, for those who can't see me. And for those who don't know me, I am a massive man right now.
Oh, my word. That is an overstatement to the max. Goodness gracious.
That
make it
scale
sound like
10 feet away from me says different.
You make it sound like you'd be sitting here and like you're in a wheelchair because your knees are not able to support your weight.
I am in a chair that's
just a rolling office chair. It doesn't
supports
count.
my weight. Focus on my health a little bit more and to travel more.
Okay.
Yeah. Make more connections, more friendships, build on my current relationships.
Okay. Anywhere specific you want to travel, like as an accomplishment, right? Like,
no. I think in the past I was always thinking, I'd love to go here and go there. And granted, I still have those places that I'd love to visit, but I think next year will be kind of busy for me, and so travel might be limited, and I'm okay with that. And yeah, I want to make writing a big goal next year. There's a comeback.
There we go.
Yeah. So I want to make writing a huge goal for me. I really, really want to focus on writing.
So do you have a specific writing goal?
Yeah, I want to write a poem every day for 365 days.
That's not a serious...
Oh,
is it really?
That's such a... Oh, you're saying it's not me being serious.
Yeah,
You're trying to say that's a serious goal.
No, that's a serious goal to have.
How dare you?
Writing a poem every day would be extremely difficult.
That would be. No, just write. I want to get better at writing in every sense.
You want to have writing as a habit?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any specific type of writing?
I want to get back into kind of like bullet journaling.
Okay.
A little bit.
You
It's
actually
really
had a
helped
great
me in the
bullet journal.
past. Yeah. It really, really just kept me like on track and disciplined, and I really let it go after our podcast fell off. I just lost all hope of anything
really?
else. Yeah. I really let myself go after that. So, and actually that tracks. Yeah, just writing in general. Get
Nice.
better at it and do different pieces. I'm kind of into all of it. Bullet journaling, poetry, fiction, everything.
It's really cool. Yeah, that's a good highlight of the difference in bullet journaling. So bullet journaling, if you don't know, is a format for basically trying to accomplish and track stuff in days. And it's in a physical notebook, and you have this system. And it's supposed to help you in a lot of different ways. Some people do it through doodling and are real creative about it. And that was a really good highlight in the difference, because Steve and I both did bullet journaling for a while. And mine were literally just bullet points and sub points. And Steven's, I open up his, and he's got like these great, awesome templates, and they're all nice, and he's got like these cool doodles that he's done throughout the days and stuff. I'm like, wow, I'm just pathetic. I don't even deserve to do this system anymore.
It's not even. It's a very good example of do what works for you. I tried to get my brother-in-law on it, and he saw mine and was like, oh yeah, I can't do that. I'm not creative, this and that, which he is. But he was immediately just turned off by it. And I said, no, you make it your own. You can literally just chicken scratch, and it isn't for everybody. He posed the question, why can't I just use an app that does it for me? And I said, well, why don't you then? Do it if that's what works for you. But if it doesn't, then you're just not going to do it at all. But that's fine. Then don't, But for me, it just worked. I think it kind of checks off all these boxes where, okay, I can plan, I can kind of be creative with it. You're not writing your emotions like a regular journal on it, but I guess if that works for you, go ahead.
Yeah, you can have like you can have an emotional tracker. You can do
absolutely. I use it as a health track. I use a health tracker on mine and track my sleep hours and all these other kinds of things. If that's too much for you, and all you can do is just, I need to take out the trash by the end of the day, do that.
That's what I did. Mine was literally just bullet points of what I was going to do, what I needed to accomplish, and then I'd scratch them out as I was done.
Yeah.
And it was helpful.
Yeah.
It was a lot of structure to it. And actually my mom does it still.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. She still does it.
Shout out to you. Yeah. That is awesome. That's so cool.
At least someone in this town can follow through on things.
She should be the host of this podcast.
She should be. You all would have a lot more consistent experience.
You guys would have great advice, a loving mother if you don't have one.
She'd probably bring you cookies.
She'd bake you delicious treats, have sound experience and good advice. Yeah. What are we doing here?
I don't know.
You know what? Let's scratch everything we've said. Let's quit.
Just before it even comes out.
Happy New Year.
This is just, we're letting you all know that we're not coming back.
This is a transition. We'll add a little sparkle and then she'll finish off the episode.
Oh, yeah. I actually do need to have some. I can't reach my sound. I can't reach my sound effects.
I know. My setup here is not the greatest.
I think it's just, another thing. Got to rebuild.
We need to hire someone who controls the sound for us.
Oh, yes. Because we can afford that.
Oh, absolutely. No. I'll just sit next to it next time. I'll just have it on my lap. Another thing I want to do is behind the scenes photos if we're not going to do videos. So
okay,
we'll post a photo of the setup.
I'm not saying we won't ever do videos, but I feel like now we definitely have to kind of rebuild back into a state where we can.
Yeah, for sure.
So
we'll get there.
Yeah.
Let's just start with good content.
Yeah, let's do that.
So for anyone who has a juicy story.
Here you go again.
Now, for anyone who has a testimony.
Oh, there we go. Okay, now you're
for anyone who has a testimony, for anyone who has something we can learn from.
Well, that's just anything.
Sound advice.
If you have anything, then we can learn from it.
True. No, that's not true. There's a lot we disagree with, Chase. As we've mentioned, okay.
Well, again, there's different ways of learning. You can learn that something
to
is
not
right.
do it.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll know what not to do if you're one of the people we disagree with.
Great.
Yeah.
I don't think we're putting our best intentions to
circling back to the judgmental.
Our best intentions, and we still come off as pretentious and judgmental.
Just kidding. It's all a joke. Yeah.
Oh. Let's see.
What about you next year? What are you looking forward to?
Next year is, I'm still in a blank slate. So I'm looking forward to, I guess, it's kind of the same goal we talked about last year, being intentional. And that I was forced to be intentional about things, which was good. And I can already find myself in certain ways now that I don't have that forced intentionality. I can see those old things being able to slip back in. But I'm almost petrified of that happening. And so I don't want to do that. I want to be not that I don't even just want to be, I need to be more intentional. And so I think that'll be a really important part of my life this coming year, which includes the podcast, which includes writing, which includes just building up, taking care of my health. I've let my health slip, and
Lies.
that's not a lie at all. Yeah, so I think I look forward to building and seeing what my life will be after all this, and I hope it's something better than what it was before. Not that it was bad, but I think using what I've gone through and continuing that, not letting it go to waste. I would hate for the opportunity of what I've gone through to be a waste and not play a large part of my life to change its course. Yeah.
Love it. It's great.
It's not as specific as yours, but, you know.
Yeah, mine were all surface materialistic things. Anyway.
No, it wasn't.
Like, I want to travel more. And you're like, I just want a shelter for my beautiful children and my wife and a better life for myself and better habits. And I'm like, yeah, me too.
No, that's because you already have somewhat of an established life and to continue to build off of, and those things that are good in your life to be able to continue those and make more and be better. And the addition of writing, definitely more, of being something changed, an aspect of life that you know is important to you, and make it a bigger part of your life. So a lot of them are similar, and mine is just I'm not as in a settled state to where I can do that quite yet, but I hope to get there.
Cheers to a new year, new us.
It's going back to how we're not perfect.
What about you, listeners? What do you hope to accomplish in the new year?
Put it in the chat dump. Oh wait, never mind.
No, we need to get something set up.
We do need something.
I'll post this on Instagram. Follow us. Follow our handles at.
I don't even know what those are.
We don't even know what. You know what? We need to stay on top of this.
We do.
Okay, they're both the same, right? They're both going to be the same on X.
Were they?
And the same on Instagram. I'm pretty sure. No XP rec.
No XP.
NOXP REQ. And am I going to start posting? I kind of had showed you the new scheme and the new.
Oh, you've already got it. Look at this guy already taking care of stuff.
Should I do that?
Yeah.
I kind of had showed you like a little bit, right?
Yes, we have. Yes, I want to see those again, and then let's go ahead and do it.
Okay.
So yeah, expect some no updated looks and
some behind the scenes photos.
Yeah, some more. Not this one.
I'm literally taking the photo. You will see the photo.
Please, not of me.
Okay.
Can you blur my face?
What I'm talking about right now in 3, 2, 1. I took it.
And you just, you have that noise now.
You can take one of me.
The audio of that point in time.
Yeah, it's like a weird.
This is, again, clearly not professional.
Yeah, go on the Instagram, like the photo.
Yep, blankets up. There it is. You guys have it.
Yeah, no, I'm not even going to say what this is. I'll blur that.
I don't think you can tell.
Okay, good. I don't want to.
Now everyone's going to be really wondering. It makes it seem so much worse.
Christians? They call themselves Christians? Yeah.
It's his Ouija board blanket.
Shut up. You take that back right now.
Nope, it's real.
Is that what you think of me?
Yeah.
With this and this to my left of me?
You're making it so much worse by not giving any context.
They don't need to know.
It's even nothing.
They don't need to know. It's children's books. It's children's books. That's all it is. Okay, I am a child inside.
It's really what he's hiding is lack of maturity.
Yes, absolutely.
My goodness.
So mature.
No, it says you have man cave candle right there.
And midnight waters. Yeah. This is a man cave. This is kind of man cavey.
This is
it wasn't.
I mean,
maybe I'll add a neon sign behind you.
That would be cool.
No XP rec.
No XP rec. Can we please spell it out? No experience required.
Yeah, at this point, I'm like, should we just?
No, what does that say?
Is this a rebrand?
Nox
Prec. Sounds like a spell. Nox Prec.
Goes right along with your Ouija board blanket.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, man. I don't even know where we're going to go. We have all this talk, and we're just right back at the same place.
Yeah, we derailed fairly quick. That's usually how it goes when it's just us two and it's towards the end of an episode.
Yep.
We just...
things just instantly fly off the handle.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it. I'm really happy to be back doing this.
Oh, so am I. And I really hope whoever was listening in the past comes back, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we lost them. We were gone too long.
We all get a fresh start. No one listens to us, and now it's all going to be new people. Or it's going to be the old people and be like, yeah, these guys have not grown at all in the past year.
They've not changed. I just burped.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm not editing anything out.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's great.
Too lazy for that.
You get the real us.
Plus, this needs to go out by...
What? Yeah, because this is supposed to be like...
Sunday morning.
Yeah, we got to say Happy New Year to everybody.
Do we?
Yeah.
Should we sing like Auld Lang Syne?
Yeah, go ahead. I don't know that. I don't know it.
You don't know it?
No. I know what it is, but it's like not coming to mind at all.
Like, what?
Nazi.
Are you not American? Were you not a Marine? Like, what is going on?
That's not a Marine song.
No, but it's an American.
What do you want me to sing the Marine Corps hymn? Yeah, Auld Lang Syne. What those aren't English words.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what actually any of that is. Do they even sing it for New Year?
I think they do. I know it is. I just don't remember. It.
Yeah, I don't even know it at all.
Okay, you're judging. Yeah. Okay, and you get on my case.
I'm not an American. Yeah, I am. I was going to say I'm not a Marine, but I said American. Anyway, yeah. Let's wish them a happy New Year.
Everyone, I hope that you had a wonderful year. The best year of your life so far. You learned great things and have great things to take forward into the upcoming year, which turns into the best year of your life. So better than the last. I have nothing but best wishes for you.
I think we'll close it off with that.
Thanks, everyone. It's been a great year with you, even though we were gone for half of it. But you've been wonderful. So here's to a new year and to what's coming.
Cheers.
Cheers.